And don't forget, I know I mentioned it on the first one. I mean, you don't have to just have a single production in any of these models. It can be double production machine, it can be triple production, or Hydromat recently did a quadruple production machine.
Oh my gosh.
So they have a big system that's got four blow feeder that blows the blanks up and over, loads them all in. So this machine's dropping parts off every 0.7 seconds, I think. So you're talking about 25 million pieces off of a machine a year or somewhere thereabout.
Oh my gosh, isn't there?
That's a special. I mean, I don't want to. That's not meant to intimidate people, but there might be somebody listening that has super high volume, and we love to look at that stuff. It doesn't have to be single production.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Maker's Vault. My name is Shae, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, or most of the time the star of the show, Willie. Dad, you're back.
I'm back. I'm excited about it. We're talking Hydromat today, right?
We are talking about Hydromat today. So
awesome.
I think late 2025, we did an episode on Hydromat. We talked about what parts and applications and things of that nature, and we had a lot of interest from the customers, and customers specifically asked us to do a second episode to follow up on makes and models, different types of units and options, and all of those things. They can kind of get a fuller picture of Hydromat in itself. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And throughout this episode, if you guys have any questions or comments, reach out to our team or leave them below, and we will send them to Willie so he can give you his advice and give you some information there. So before we get started, please make sure that you like this video, comment below, and subscribe to support the channel. It really helps support and grow our channel and what we do here at manufacturing.
It was really cool to see some real inquiries come in, by the way. For those of you that may watch this follow-up episode as well, we've got some good interest after our first talk about Hydromat. A lot of new customers that really needed to understand the educational side of it, and we got some good projects out of it, so it was great. Appreciate that very much.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And so that kind of rolls us right into the first topic, where you've always talked about it, Hydromat is more of a process. It's not necessarily a commodity machine. There's a lot more that goes into it. Why don't you talk about that a little bit, because that really starts with the customer inquiry.
Yeah, I think the major point I want to make to anybody that's listening that has some interest is that this is not, to your point, a commodity type of a sale. That is it's a completely different process that goes along with a commodity sale. So in other words, there's really no dumb questions. This is an educational process that oftentimes, I'll say unfortunately or fortunately, but oftentimes it takes a year or two or three or even much longer for an organization to be dabbling around the Hydromat and trying to learn more about it until the stars finally align and the educational factor intersects with the opportunity the customer gets, and it becomes a real project, and you can join the Hydromat family at that point, But it's definitely a process. So we don't expect, it's very niche, so we don't expect any new customer to fully understand a lot of the basics. So please reach out to us, reach out to Hydromat, and let us jump aboard with you and go through the journey of the educational side of it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys have not watched that Hydromat episode, the first one, I would say probably go and watch that one first before you turn this one on. That way you can kind of get the full picture of everything that we do, because you really do a nice job going into the different applications and the parts and what kind of part is best, because there's a lot of assumptions out there about what parts are best, on a Hydromat.
What volumes are best, what parts are best, and it's hard in one episode of a podcast to talk about all the different capabilities, but the key part of a Hydromat is its modularity. As long as you're asking it to do something that fits within the framework of the machine or the capacity of the machine, we can 9 out of 10 times accommodate it. So there's a lot of special things that we could do on the transfer machine as well.
Yeah. All right. So let's kind of dive into that a little bit more.
Yep.
Kind of going into what we're talking about today, which is the different makes and models. So before we explain the different makes and models, I think it's probably good to take a step back and talk about the different units. So I know there's 3 different types of units. Starting with maybe the legacy hydraulic one would probably be the best place to start.
Yeah, I mean, there's different technologies. That's what you're asking, right? Yeah. The different technologies, like the machine units, not the units mounted on the machines. I think we covered that in the episode 1, but The different technologies of Hydromat, and this does cause some perception issues out there, is for the first, Hydromat's been around for 45 years in the U.S. So for the first 20 years, they were building just legacy, what we call legacy hydraulic machines.
Okay.
No CNC on the machine. Basically manual adjustments for your RPMs, for your feed rates, for your rapid approaches. All that lends itself towards a dedicated job for the most part for the machine. And all those dedicated high volume single jobs were around back then.
Sure.
That's great. We still do those for those applications. After that, after you get out of a hydraulic legacy technology is what we would call it, or those of us in the industry would call that the green machine. After you get out of that, you get into the hydraulic CNC. So it's still hydraulics that provides the power to the units, but the CNC is controlled through the hydraulics, not a servo motor and a ball screw and linear rails like everybody probably listening understands. Every other machine tool has ball screws and servo motors. We use a hydraulic CNC with a smart valve. So we call that CNC. We call it hydraulic CNC. Just don't confuse that with the legacy, because there is no CNC on legacy. Hydraulic CNC, and then now we have, and we've had for many years now, the ball screw technology. So we also have the ball screw linear guide CNC machine.
Okay.
So you got those three categories: legacy, super high volume, dedicated; hydraulic CNC, very accurate, very flexible. And then the ball screw CNC, which is more familiar with everybody. It's a FANUC control. Flexibility between that and the standard hydraulic CNC is probably maybe about the same in terms of what the units can do. But the ball screw is kind of the cream of the crop because it gives you more stroke, more dynamic stiffness in the spindles, and all that good stuff. So those are the three categories.
Walk us through a little bit why Hydromat decided to innovate through the eras by coming out with the different units.
Well, in the beginning, it was just a lot of high volume. Hey, I got to make 1.5 million of this part. I need a cycle time of 3 seconds. And you sell a legacy machine. You set it up once, and you let it rip. Over time, batch sizes become smaller. The number of SKUs our customers have to run per year across the machine is increased, which then drives you got to have flexibility then. So that manual adjustment of RPM, that manual adjustment of everything, feed rate, rapid, those things
take too much time.
Yeah. So the CNC took over, and that does it for you. So it allowed you to compress your setup times, therefore running shorter runs.
And that's where that perception comes in, is the jump between the manual to the
and I know I've said it a
CNC.
billion times, and I keep saying it. The biggest competitor Hydromat has is that perception. Especially to customers that haven't experienced that firsthand Hydromat on their floor.
Sure.
They definitely, it's really cool technology, but we don't have the volume. That's normally where every conversation starts.
Is there?
But like our last episode, the couple projects that we got out of in our territory as a result of that is exactly the opposite. You know, the one was absolutely these are 10,000 piece runs.
Wow. It's
an OEM of a particular product line, and you know, it's got to be careful because of NDAs, but it was a mindset that basically they were offshoring a bunch of components and making parts here. They didn't feel like one machine could accommodate both sides of that equation because of the perception, the wrong perception of the volume that you needed, and it turns out that they can do that. So now they can make everything here in the U.S. So.
That's fantastic.
Hopefully that will materialize into a real order, and that'll be a great case study. Another one.
Yeah, another one. So now that we kind of defined the different technologies of Hydromat, let's go into the actual models.
Yep. Okay. The models are, we'll keep it simple. You basically got a certain number of stations on a machine, and a certain capacity of a machine, like anything else. We have two 12-station machine models, so 12 horizontal positions. And by the way, you can have up to 6 verticals on a 12-station machine, vertical spindles. are a 2512 and a 4512. The 2512 is millimeters, so it's a 1-inch machine, 12 horizontal positions. The 4512 is 45 millimeter or 1.75 bar capacity. Both of those are bar capacity with 12 horizontal positions. And again, you could put up to 6 verticals on those machines. Then you go, sticking with the horizontal platform, then you go to a what we call it's a 16 station machine. It's a 32, 45, 16. That gives you the 45 millimeter bar capacity still, but gives you 16 horizontal positions.
Okay. And how many options for vertical?
Eight.
Okay.
It's basically you can't have 2 verticals neighboring each other.
Okay.
Think of it like
every
like
other,
a
it's
pizza,
gotta be.
right? You're going to have interference if they're right next to each other. So 8 vertical units on a 16 station machine.
Okay.
Okay, those are what I would call like the horizontal style Hydromat transfer machines. Then you get into what we call the HS platform. HS stands for horizontal satellite chucks. So the HS is an HS12 and an HS16, 12 stations or 16. And the big difference there is you do not have collets. I don't know if we can see the table here, but we don't have collets around the periphery of the table. We have chucks that sit on top of the table, and they index in 5-degree increments.
Okay.
So in a traditional Hydromat, those bar machines, those horizontal ones that I described, you're feeding into a collet or a chuck, you're turning it around in one position somewhere in the process, machining the backside and finishing it. These HS machines that have indexing chucks, not collets, on the top that are also indexable, you can put a part in there like a T or an L fitting, or a part that's prismatic that you got to machine around all 4 sides. The top could be a 5th side. Now you can load that blank into that machine, and you can then bring it to the station and index the chuck to the position that you need to machine. Go to the next station, index the chuck, machine
So
the position.
the spindle is still coming from a horizontal position,
yep.
but it's being loaded.
But you're holding the part in a chuck like
in a
this,
chuck
and you
like
can move it
this.
around as you go around the major table.
Okay,
So
got it.
very good for, like I said, T's, elbows, parts that have really tight tolerances, features to each other where you can clamp it once and have access to the whole part 360 degrees around it.
Okay.
Those machines, the 12 station, the HS12, has a 3x3 cube. Basically, these are guidelines. Again, it's a somewhat of a special machine, so we can stretch things here and there. But if you look at the catalog, it's 4x4 cube on a 12 station, 3x3 cube on a 16.
On the 16.
Yeah.
Okay, so opposite on the okay.
Opposite.
I did have a question on, and I might have mentioned this on the first episode, I can't remember, but when you're loading bars into like a horizontal
Yep.
Hydromat platform, is it just round, or can you do hex and square bars loading in?
Yeah, no, it's a good question, and it's a very good advantage of a Hydromat. So any Hydromat that we're talking about, you're not rotating the material, which is a very
Right.
difficult thing for some people to get their hands around, because if it's a screw machine or a Swiss or any type of lathe, you're rotating the stock.
It's rotating, yeah.
We're Hydromat, the bar is stationary, and your tooling's doing the rotating. You're cutting off first instead of cutting off last. So the fact that you're not rotating that stock makes it very easy to load shaped material.
Okay, that makes sense.
To your point. It just doesn't have to be hex or square. We've had extruded figure 8 type shapes,
Oh,
all
really?
kinds of L type stock, all kinds of different extruded shapes. And we basically
interesting.
can just feed that bar in, rotate that into the bushing, feed it in, cut it off, and away,
And then
and away you go.
So, okay, all right, so sorry, that was a little sidetrack from,
Yep, no, yeah,
from
that's
the
what we're here
models.
for.
So we were just on the HS one,
Yep.
kind of finished that up.
Yep. Now
next model.
the next one would be what we would call a trunnion style machine.
Yeah.
So a trunnion style machine is like a Ferris wheel.
It's exactly what it looks like,
Instead
yeah.
of the merry-go-round, right?
Yeah.
Instead of being horizontal, you're like this.
Maybe we'll throw some pictures up on the screen actually, so you guys can see what we're talking about.
And that's a great machine too, because it has chucks, not collets. So you're basically feeding in your stock or loading your blank into station 1, and then you're holding it in one position and you're bringing it around this way, and you're working from the right and you're working from the left.
So the part stays in the center, and you got tools on either side
On
that
either
are
side.
going. So can you back and front work at the same simultaneously?
Yep. If you're holding in the middle of the part, you can work the right, work the left at the same time. In fact, you can work the right, the left, and what we would call a vertical unit on that machine here. So if you had a T-fitting, for example, or any type of part that had a feature on the right, feature on the left, and a feature face on, you could have those 3 units hit the part at one time in one station.
Now, okay, I have the question in my head. I just need to figure out how to say it right. So, but like on a Hydromat, you can have multiple parts in the process at one time, like on a traditional.
You always have. In any
Okay, so
machine.
this is the same case. It's just gonna go over top, but there's different units on all over passing that part, doing one feature.
Yeah,
on
we
each
have
station.
2 trunnion style machines. One is a V12. It's got 12 sets of chucks.
Okay.
And you've got 9 units on the right, and you've got 9 units on the left.
Okay.
And you can put the verticals if you need them. On a V8, you have 6 units on the right, 6 units on the left, and you can have verticals. You might say, what's the best applications for a trunnion? Would be, again, parts that you'd need to clamp once, and for tolerancing reasons, you want to work the right, the left, and face on without letting go of the part. The other one would be length, longer parts. So you can get up to like a 12-inch long shaft on a trunnion machine. You'd never do that on the horizontal.
Well, yeah, because like you need an area to clamp.
Yeah, you got to feed in this collet and you got to clamp it. You can't feed in 6 inches into a collet and clamp it, not on a Hydromat. So if your part is long, if it's a shaft, if it's a part that's got super accuracy from like TIRs from end to end, and they need to be done at the same time, to your point, in the same position, you got the best chance of holding those tighter tolerances. So
what's the smallest length of a part that you could have? Do you know on a trunnion?
On a trunnion?
Yeah, on a trunnion.
We could, again, custom chuck can get really small. You could be in a 1/2 inch, 3/8 long part and still adequately clamp it in the middle and work both sides.
I always think it's funny because Hydromat machines, when you see them, they look so intimidating because there's just so much going on.
There's a lot of spindles.
And then sometimes you see these like tiny little parts like come out of them, and I'm like, that's so funny that you need this like huge machine to achieve this smaller part.
Well, think about it. It's all about cycle time. So, I mean, a 16-station machine with 16 units on it's 16 machines around one indexing table.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there now with the FANUC control or with our Epic control prior. It's a lot simpler. We won't get into that right now, but it's a lot simpler to program it than it is when somebody's looking at it from an aisle at a show saying, "Oh my God, it looks complicated." It's not. You basically have your 16 different programs, and you might have 5 or 8 lines of code in each one, and there's no weight codes, there's no interference things you need to worry about because of the design of the machine. So it's really good. So we've got those horizontals like we talked about.
Yep.
We've got the HS machines with the indexing chucks with the larger part capacity, and then we got the trunnions that go this way where you work the right and the left for longer shafts and for really super tight tolerance parts from end to end.
Oh wait, I have a question about the trunnions. How do you drop the parts complete if it's coming over the top? Like how does it get?
Well, you imagine station 1, you're going to, let's just say it's a bar fed, not a robot loaded machine. You're going to load in, you're going to cut it off, you're going to go around, machine. And when you get to the unloading station, a chuck opens, there's a cylinder that pushes it out, and it goes out.
And it goes down to, okay, got it. All right. All right, so we got those ones, got the trunnion. So next would be?
Next would be some of the machines that most people don't know about, and I'm kind of excited to talk about them. I mean, because, it's the... we could start with the Eclipse machine. So the Eclipse was our Hydromat's first step into a bar-fed, larger capacity ball screw-driven machine. So there's 12 positions on it, but you can go up to 2 5/8 diameter.
Okay.
So now you can get into some much larger diameter parts that might traditionally be on twin spindle, twin turret, triple turret type machines. The volumes are creeping up a little bit higher and you want to get them done faster. Again, perception would say, the general perception out there would say we don't have anything that can feed a 2 5/8 or 2.5 inch bar basically and machine it. We do. We have one here in town. There's several others that are installed in the U.S. It's a beast. I
think that was
much larger parts.
The Eclipse was one of the first Hydromats outside of just
That you
like
saw?
that I saw. Yeah.
I remember you went down to the company and,
Yeah.
and saw it, and that was super flexible machine, low batch sizes, making these hydraulic components. A lot lower than anybody would ever even imagine.
Yeah,
in
I
terms of
remember.
the
I
parts.
remember the president talking about it.
So that's the Eclipse. We also now have what we call the Force, which is also electromechanical, ball screw, fan control machine, and that can be done in every platform we've talked about so far. The 2512, the 4512, the 324516, the HS machines, and the trunnions to some degree can all be equipped with Force
Units.
technologies.
Okay.
Force technology. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It gives a customer a choice. I get asked a lot, well, what should I do? Should I go with the
the
ball
Force
screw,
or
or should I go with the hydraulic CNC? And I guess there's some features maybe that would need to be machined, that we would look at heavy duty features that we would like thread milling applications and different things like that. That we might say, hey, the Force technology is better because it's a stronger unit, but the hydraulics is tried and true, and it's not
It's
something
been around forever.
It's not something Hydromat's abandoning. It's just kind of dual paths. So if somebody is on board with the hydraulics, then that's what we continue to build. If somebody wants to use Force, and then that's what we do. Both are fan controlled today, so
Yeah.
that doesn't make any difference. So.
And with the Force units, don't they have like the modularity with like you could each unit can be like 1, 2, 3, up to 4 axis.
Not just the Force, the hydraulic as well.
The hydraulic as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, if you want to do a quick, you either have a single axis unit for drilling, or just box turning or something like that, and you've got a 2-axis unit where we can profile turn OD, and we can put a boring bar in there and bore the ID. You got a 3-axis unit that gives you like a little mini horizontal machining center where you can thread mill and do different off-center features and things like that. Then you got a 4-axis unit, which is actually one of those profiling units for 2-axis turning, but in a 2-axis flange. So if you had a feature that was off-center and you needed to profile in 2 axes, we have that. That's a 4-axis unit. But you can do that with Force. You can do that with hydraulic CNC.
Okay.
So after that comes the Icon platform, and the Icon is a beast in itself. The Icon is, don't think bar feeding anymore. You're always loading a blank. And there's the Icon 250, and there's the Icon 150.
Okay.
The 250 is now, here you got tool changers, you got a 4th axis. These are horizontal machining centers under one table. So without getting into all of it, you have a 200 millimeter 4th axis pallet. You load your part on there. You pick up the pallet. You take after load station. You pick it up. You take it to station 2, and then you've got a 3-axis, basically HSK 63 horizontal machining center fed by a tool changer to do all that work and go to the next station.
So
go to the next station. The pallets moves around,
Okay.
and so it's really meant to step in when you're getting to too many horizontals. And floor space is a problem, and the logistics of the multiple different machines is a problem, and so on. Labor is a problem. So if the volumes kind of creep up, that's where the Icon 6250. So much larger parts, think horizontal machining center work, and there's basically 8 horizontal machining centers attacking the part at once.
Inside of one. Okay. Now, I think there's a good video that Hydromat has on their YouTube channel of the Icon being robot loaded. And I think it's doing some like upper receivers or something like that. So maybe we can share that video
that's
in the
out there.
description.
That's doing uppers and lowers.
Is it? Okay.
Receivers.
Yeah.
And that's an Icon 6250, fully automated with drawer storage retrieval system. That's out in the field, running well. There's multiples. Then the other Icon that I mentioned, the 6150 or 8150. Now you're going down to much smaller of a part. You're still only loading blanks, but it gives you the ability to turn as well.
Oh,
So you have
okay.
you have a work holding fixture that can rotate up to 5,000 RPM.
Oh,
So
wow.
this is truly a multi-station turn mill center. So you could have 6 or 8 of these fixtures, spindles that rotate robotically. To your point, load and unload that machine, and also have tool changers. So for the medical industry, small little intricate parts that need to be have a 50, 60,000 RPM spindle to do a lot of deburring of small little intersected parts. Again, perception of Hydromat out there. Most people don't know, unfortunately, this technology exists. But boy, the ones that do are really killing it out there with machining their parts, because it's really a super complex, for super complex parts, turn mill center that can really spit out the parts in a
Wow.
much faster cycle time.
Wow. All right, so we got so the icons, that would be the last kind of model in the Hydromat family. So I think one of the things that I picked up through this, and obviously just working at the HEH group, there's kind of a difference with the naming. I know it's like a minuscule thing, but like if you go to Mazak, like a quick turn, like a QT, 250, a quick turn 250 is always a quick turn 250. But in Hydromat, it's almost like the technologies are the names, and those technologies can be put on platforms. You know what I'm saying? Versus it like the machine being called 12 station Epic, whatever it is. Or it's the technology, like the unit of the technology
Is the name.
and it's put on the platforms.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. You have legacy. You
Yeah.
have hydraulic CNC. You have force, which to us at Hydromat and as their distributors, you know what that means. That means ball screw driven machine. You've got Icon. Icon means
Yeah.
the horizontal machining center type of multiple horizontal machining center type replacement machine. Eclipse, and yeah, you're right. It's a little different, and it'll be impossible for somebody new to kind of track that down. But
Right.
the important thing is to understand that, the perception of the high volume, it needs to be erased. You need to kind of really understand what the difference is between that and CNC in terms of setup times. And then after that, it's understanding we've got ball screw technology, hydraulic technology, and we've got large format Icon 6250 machines, and we've got turn mill centers, and of course we've got the trunnion style and the HS. So we can hold your part, we can machine your part if it fits within the capacity of that platform.
Yeah. So before we get on to options, one of the things, like, I'm going to try to find some videos and some pictures to put over this so we can overlay them for the customer to see. But I feel like a lot of times we do have customers visit other facilities that have Hydromats so they can kind of understand. So if anyone out there, and correct me if I'm wrong, is, interested in really Hydromat technology and wants to see it in person, I'm sure we can line that up.
That's part of the educational process.
Yeah.
As we started to talk about the best thing to do is to visit the plant in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So I've said a million times, Hydromat is not an importer of machine tools. They're a machine tool builder. So what you see there is everything from soup to nuts. They're building the machines on the floor in St. Louis. So you get to see all these different platforms we're talking about. But on the other hand, some people say that's in a controlled environment. I'd much rather go see one in use in a shop. And yes, we've got fortunately a lot of good customers. As long as there's no competitive element to it, most people are happy to open their doors and share what they do.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, so options. I know this is kind of a part we want to hit on. So custom standard options. Want to run us through some of those?
Yeah, I think, the key, I think, is on the loading side of it. You mentioned it earlier. Don't always think bar fed. Robot loaded, any of these platforms we're talking about. Hydromat's a FANUC integrator. I would say, 50% of the machines. It's been a moving and fluctuating thing over the years, but probably 50% of the machines, maybe 40, are blank loaded machines.
Are they really?
Not bar fed machines. So,
I would have thought the opposite.
well, most people do think that. So if you're somebody that's in a cold heading environment or a casting or forging house or anything like that, we do it all day, every day. So it could be and the bulk loading system. We've got lots of options there. So you can have a hopper, elevator, bowl feeder type of deal. You can have like what you saw or you mentioned on the Icon for the receivers. It's a drawer storage and retrieval system. We could have palleted conveyors. We could have all kinds of different methods to get the bulk material to the robot, but then the robot loads and unloads the machine. So think bar stock, think loading blanks.
The more and more that we go through this episode, the more that I think about what you said at the top, that this really is a process. It's not just, hey, I want a 5-axis machine, pick a couple options and we're done. This really is.
No. I mean, even existing customers that have 10 machines, it all starts with, can you think we could do this? Well, let us take a look at that and see. And, the engineers at Hydromat are phenomenal. They'll if it's doable, we'll find a way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, little different things too, like, this falls under the options category, but something you wouldn't think of. You can have a part that you're loading in, bar stock or blank, and then say there's a feature or a stamping operation or a broaching operation that we can't do on the machine, or some type of secondary machine that's needed. We come around the machine, you go to station 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a robot pulls it out at 5, puts it in a secondary machine, you get that operation done, the robot puts it back in the machine, now you can machine that feature back into the Hydromat.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I haven't seen that.
You can that is definitely, again, if you have a process where you're like, well, that feature can never be done on the Hydromat, I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Don't not call us.
Don't not call.
We can pull it out of the machine, like I said, do it, put it back in. It's done often. So
that's crazy.
So that's on the loading and unloading and some of the custom in and out of the machine type deals. But the standard options that you got to decide on are what everybody asks about is tool load monitoring or tool detection. We've got 3 different forms of that are just built in. Basically, one is like a parts counter, so you could set, if you know that drill is going to last 10,000 pieces, you set it, counts down, shuts the machine off, and tells you change station number 3 drill. Or you can have whisker type presence detection. Our default on the Hydromat side is with BK Micro, so you could come down and touch the drill between each part, and if the drill's not there, the whisker goes by, shuts the machine telling you it broke. And then we've got 2 different forms of load monitoring, one that's kind of built through the FANUC control and one that's through Technitool, which monitors the load of the motor. So it'll sense if the tool is starting to wear. You can set parameters, and at some point it'll shut it off before the tool breaks. So tool monitoring is always something that needs to be figured out based on the specific application. Then you got your normal miscollection. We use an absolent system typically. If you've got a main system in your plant, we just tie into that. We'll put the flange on the machine, and you just connect yours, or we quote the standalone system. Fire suppression, it's always on every one of our quotes. If you're machining tougher materials and oil, if you chip an insert or chip something and it sparks, it could flame up. It happens, not often, but it happens. So that's really application driven. I would say, maybe 30% of the people get our fire suppression system, or we prep it and they put on their own. What about like cleaning, inspecting? Yeah, like pulling the part out of the machine and doing these ancillary operations. We can. If you want to do more of a bar to box type of a situation, we want to machine the part, and you want to come off the part on the unload and go right through a parts cleaner and to a pack out station, all done often, no problem. And Hydromat's doing all of that. Hydromat would do all of it. Yep. It's no problem. What about bar feeder options? Bar feeder options, that's a good one. So the magazine bar feeder, where you just kind of have a slanted magazine and it has a certain capacity, is typically what we use. But for longer parts or parts that have super fast cycle times where you're chewing through bars a lot, we can upgrade that to a bundle bar feeder. So you could put 5,000 pounds of bar stock in there, cut the bands off, and it'll descramble and elevate one bar at a time and load it into the machine. So that's good. We've got quality audit chutes that in the exit chute of the machine, after a part's machined, we can program it every whatever it is, every 1,000th piece is diverted into a QC box. So a quality person can come check throughout the day. Those types of things. And don't forget, I know I mentioned it on the first one. I mean, you don't have to just have a single production in any of these models. It can be double production machine. It could be triple production, or Hydromat recently did a quadruple production machine.
Oh my gosh.
So they have a big system that's got four blow feeder that blows the blanks up and over, loads them all in. So this machine's dropping parts off every 0.7 seconds, I think.
Wow.
So you're talking about 25 million pieces off of a machine a year or somewhere thereabout.
Oh my gosh. Isn't there?
That's a special. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't want to. That's not meant to intimidate people, but there might be somebody listening that has
Has that
super
type of-
high volume, and,
Yeah.
and we love to look at that stuff. It doesn't have to be single production.
With the double production, didn't you say one time, like let's say on a 12-station machine, like 6 of them can be programmed on one part and 6 of them programmed on the other, or sorry, not part. Six of the
Yeah.
stations can be programmed to one part, and
Yep.
then the other 6, so you can just literally run
Yeah.
at the same time.
Well, you're
I'm doing this,
you're
but it's
doing
not
this.
actually
It's
it.
not that. Yeah, yeah. No, you can load at station 1, blank or bar feed. Load at station 2, and double index the table. So
Okay.
your even numbered collets that are being fed in station 1, they could be making part 1.
One.
And your other bar feeder at station 2 is working the odd numbered collets. And remember, the tables I'm double indexing. It could be making
Parts.
part B or part 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
Or
so-
the other option there is you load at 1 on your 12-station example, and then you load at 6. But we call that kind of it turns into a helicopter on your floor.
Oh,
There's a
yeah,
lot of
'cause
floor
you're always
space.
doing this,
Well,
yeah.
no, you got a big bar feeder there, and you got a big bar feeder here. It takes a lot of floor space. So we
Okay.
like to load at 1 and 2, not 1 and
One and 6.
180 degrees across. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I think the only other option we probably didn't get to was chip conveyors, cooling systems.
Yeah. I mean, we make a lot of chips, obviously. So Hydromat has got a great system. It sometimes needs to be customized around a certain application, but you've got different levels of filtration. You've got the drag out chip conveyor where all your chips are falling and it's dragging it out. You got a vacuum drum system that is to get the smaller chips and the fines taken care of. You've got canisters for like the floating chips. You've got filtration for your through the spindle coolant units if you're putting coolant through the spindle. I think that is one of the strongest links in the Hydromat system is the coolant and
Is the
chip
coolant,
system.
yeah.
It's robust. It's robust.
Awesome. All right. Well, if anyone listening wants to reach out or they're interested at all, might have a part, just have questions, what should their next steps be?
Well, you go to hydromat.com. You could check out the website, see a lot of videos. Hydromat's got a YouTube channel. You could check out all that. If you want to talk to somebody, or you want somebody to come in and kind of just have a conversation, start this education
Yeah, start
process,
the
like
educational
like we said, under zero pressure. You get a hold of Hydromat, or you can reach out, connect with us. We're the Hydromat distributor in Ohio and Western Pennsylvania and in the Carolinas and Virginias. We've been a part of Hydromat for 40 years this year, actually.
Wow, really?
40 years.
That is pretty cool.
I've been a part of it for the 35 of the 40. So I can get you connected to the right person depending on where you're calling from. So
Yeah, I think
But
the biggest thing is just reach out, right?
reach out. There is no dumb question. Maybe it's not one part. Maybe you got 3 different parts floating around the shop doing, in different areas. And maybe you're not thinking if we put those together, we can, maybe start to look at how to justify a Hydromat. Because don't forget, a Hydromat is about throughput.
Right.
If it's lower volumes or if it's high volume or medium volume, it's about throughput. And I mentioned this in the last podcast, and a lot of people have said something to me that listened to it and found it interesting. I got a call last week, another one. I get phone calls all the time from people that are asking for who can I get that has Hydromat pricing.
You mentioned that last
So
time. Yep.
buyers are looking for companies that can provide Hydromat pricing. And the only way to get to the Hydromat pricing is to drop
With a
off parts
Hydromat.
in 0.7 seconds or
That's so
10
crazy.
seconds that take a minute to do or 2 minutes to do elsewhere, or 15 seconds. Or, the average cycle time of a Hydromat's between probably 3 seconds and 15 seconds per part, complete, done in one machine.
It's unbelievable.
Accurate, fast, at a 90% efficiency typically. Different materials require more
Sure.
maintenance, but So yeah, those are the things we want to talk to the customers about.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. All right, so last thing,
Yep.
because we had some people on LinkedIn ask us to give a Browns update.
Oh, geez.
Really switching gears fast, but it's only right to start off 2026 with a positive outlook on the Browns season, which means we are back at believing we're going to be the Super Bowl champs this year, right?
Every year.
Yep.
Every year. I saw that on LinkedIn, I think, last night.
Yeah.
That was, I'll give Mike Monier a shout
Yeah,
out. I think
Mike.
that was Mike.
This one's for you, Mike. I hope you're listening.
I don't know. I'm an internal optimist. It's going to be all about quarterback play.
Every
Again,
year,
it sounds like a
every
broken
year.
record. We had a good draft last year.
Yeah, pretty good draft.
Our defense is pretty solid.
I'm
What I
interested.
wish would happen is the Browns and the Haslams would kind of just say "I give" and let us have the Bengals offense with our defense
Oh, yeah, good idea.
and let Ohio win a Super Bowl.
Honestly, we should just band together because it's not like the Bengals are getting much better.
It's the only way to do it.
Yeah. We should find a way to make that happen. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about our defensive coordinator situation. I'm kind of sad to see Schwartz go, but at the same time, if you're not in it, you just go. So I guess the new coordinator will be interesting. I'm not too mad about Munkin. Guess we'll see about that. Quarterback play, like you said, no idea. We have no idea that can catch the ball, so we should probably get some receivers this year.
Yeah, running
I don't
game
know,
is
we'll
back
see.
in good
Running
shape.
game's
It's
back,
all about receivers
Defense
and
is
it's about
good.
Offensive line. So
Yeah, hopefully have a good draft.
we'll see. If I was forced, I would say 500 season would be a win this year, and Deshaun would then be gone because he's got this one last year.
You know, some people are saying that
He's gonna
Deshaun
start,
is
and maybe he should. I mean, he's the most experienced in the room right
Yeah.
now. So I mean,
it's a quarterback competition. It's a quarterback competition. I
I'd
guess.
put him out there. But we just got to get past that
Yeah.
economic
Problem.
barrier.
Yeah.
But if we can be on the right trajectory, have a 500 season, have another good draft this year, I'd be happy. I'm not
I'm
looking
with you.
through this one through rose-colored lenses. So we're not going to the Super Bowl next year.
No? Wow. Well, Connor thinks we're going. My husband is very optimistic about the Browns every year, and he thinks Shador is gonna get us to the playoffs. So we'll.
I don't dislike Shador.
I don't either.
I don't think he's getting a fair shake. I mean, I wish they would just leave him alone, let him play football and
Yeah,
live his
same.
life. But I guess that's what happens when your dad is primetime.
Yeah, that's what happens. All right.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Reach out to us if you have any questions, and we will see you in the next Maker's Vault.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks.